100.7 and 103.7 WTIB present Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton. News, sports, and community information and everything that's going on around town. Now, with Talk of the Town, here's your host, Henry Hinton.
Okay, welcome in this morning to Talk of the Town. It is Monday morning. Good to have you here. Carly Swain with me at the desk today. How are you?
Morning.
I love having you.
This is so fun.
It is.
I like McGee's chair. I think I'm going to kick him out.
McGee is home.
Not
let's see.
feeling
He said. Let me see. Let's read his text to everyone.
Let's just make this nice and public.
McGee's
Forget
text.
HIPAA laws.
I have a throw up, headache, sore throat, crud. Hit me late last night so McGee.
Get better, because we have a couple of people at the station right now who are not behind the scenes folks. They are not feeling good and haven't been for like 2 weeks. It's sticking around this time.
I'm knocking on some wood.
Knock on laminate.
I haven't gotten it yet, but it's been all through my
It's going
family. All
around
my
a lot,
grandkids have had it.
Oh, poor guy.
All right, a lot to talk about this morning. We've got a great guest this morning. Representative Paul Tyne from the North Carolina House of Representatives is going to be on with us. There's a breaking story that everybody needs to be aware of. And by the way, some opportunities for you to sound off about it. The insurance industry in the state of North Carolina is making a run right now at increasing your homeowners rates 25 to 35% across the board in North Carolina.
It's big.
Now, they tried to get a 18% increase last year, and the insurance commission they allowed them to have a 7% increase. So you know how this thing goes. I mean, don't you think they ask for more? They know they're not going to get what they asked for.
Slide an offer on a paper across the
table. But if they get 10%, that would be a 17% increase in 2 years.
But that's what they originally asked for and said they needed. So,
I know they've had a lot of losses. They're saying that they've had mammoth losses from hurricanes, but that's the thing I don't understand. When Katrina came around,
by what numbers though does that show? I mean, are we talking Earl, Irene?
I don't know. Perhaps Paul Tyne will know.
Sandy wasn't, our issue. I mean, like it was an issue in New Jersey and New York and. Yeah,
well, we're going to yesterday. Representative Paul Tyne was on Twitter raising Cain about this, and so I actually got up with him yesterday and asked him if he would come on and talk about it this morning. So North Carolina State Representative Paul Tyne, who represents, I have it in front of me now, Beaufort County, Dare County, Hyde County, and Washington counties. Paul Tyne is in his first term in the North Carolina House of Representatives. He's a Democrat. And he is going to be on with us in a few minutes to talk about this. The insurance commissioner of North Carolina, by the way, Wayne Goodwin, already out there over the weekend. By the way, the request by the insurance industry went to the insurance commissioner at like 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. That's why you haven't heard anything about it if you weren't paying attention over the weekend.
Makes sense.
And, that's what they do. They try to slip it by you. And so the insurance commissioner's already out there saying, you know what, we're going to fight this. But now, here's what can happen. If they can actually show losses at a certain level, they can file a court action. Even if the insurance commission here in North Carolina denies them this rate increase, they can go to court and get it. And they say that they've had such losses, that the insurance companies have had such losses on homeowners insurance in North Carolina since all the hurricanes started, 10 years ago or whatever, that they've got to do this, and they've got to increase your homeowners rate. So their requested rate increase for you across the board is 25% minimum in North Carolina, 35% if you live in the coastal areas.
Jeez.
Now, that came out Friday. Then over the weekend, news that coastal flood insurance is going to be hit drastically because Congress may not renew the subsidies that they've been putting into coastal flood insurance. So if you live anywhere on the river, on the ocean, down around anywhere from like Currituck County, Dare County, maybe even up around the Chowan River.
Going all the way down towards Onslow.
All the way down in our listening area through New Bern, the Trent River,
Yep.
Neuse River. all the way down to Morehead City and all the barrier islands out there, Atlantic Beach, Emerald Isle, Pine Knoll Shores, all of those areas, your flood insurance may go up dramatically. There was an article in yesterday's News and Observer about this couple that lives in Wrightsville Beach. They're an elderly couple that wanted to sell out and move. They had their home sold, and then the people came in and found out what they were going to have to pay for a new flood insurance policy, and people backed out. They sold it to someone else. Same thing happened. Couple found out what they're going to have to pay for flood insurance. They backed out.
That's something to talk about too with Representative Tyne about. I mean, we're looking at big tax issues as well if we can't sell homes because of this.
But just think about just the insurance issues we're dealing with this year.
Yeah.
You got Obamacare with health insurance. Now they're saying that our homeowners insurance could go up 25%.
And then we're talking about trying to actually raise a teacher's salary in the state of North Carolina. How are you going to do that if you can't get people to buy a home and pay property tax on it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a whole domino effect.
So Paul Tyne coming up here in a few minutes to talk about that. The other big breaking news that Carly will bring us up to date on in a minute is more serious. What do they call it? Label 1 crimes. What did the police chief refer to it over the weekend?
There's the different
Part 1
sections.
crimes.
I think it's part,
which is like
parts.
the top level of serious crime. We had shootings in a motel over the weekend. This is like I don't even know where this motel is, by the way.
The Economy. They're saying Stantonsburg Road.
Economy Inn. It's like between what? Like between Memorial Drive and Moy Boulevard, I think.
I think
Not too far from the hospital. But so what was the story over there?
Around 2 o'clock in the morning, police got a call, shots fired.
This was yesterday, 2 a.m.
Yeah, yesterday, 2 a.m. So Saturday night, technically, for a lot of us. Got there and found a man shot near the entranceway of this motel. Apparently, he had been in an argument with some other people. They think the victim likely knows the person who shot him. He was taken to Biden. He's going to be okay. But it's still disturbing. We were talking about that this morning. If we just do the math, since we turned the calendar page to 2014, we've got 4 calls of shots fired in the first 5 days in Greenville, and 3 out of those 4, somebody was hurt.
Yeah. And this, while the police, now I did like we talked about Chief Aiden and the interview we did with him on Friday morning, and then you guys had him on Friday night, and all the TV channels had him over the weekend, and then finally the Reflector got to him on Sunday.
He's not making a secret of the fact that they're looking to make big changes.
I loved what he did on the WITN report. He looked into the camera and said, if you're thinking about coming to Greenville and committing armed robbery, you need to realize that when you walk in with a gun,
you're going to walk in
that the chances are very good now, because we're going to put armed police officers undercover inside behind the counter.
Yeah, it's very smart. And I wonder too, and we've had some feedback on this. If you're living in Greenville, I just moved to Greenville recently. Does that make you feel a little bit more confident in our police force here? I mean, because a lot of people are saying, I'm losing confidence in it.
Well, I have to admit, the idea of parking the police cars out in front of these businesses
with no one inside,
I mean, that never worked, and it just seemed kind of ridiculous after a while.
Well, and I remember, you'll recall, I think it was a couple months ago, before everybody started tackling this crime in Greenville thing, we did a special report sitting down with Chief Aiden saying, hey, why is it that every other day I'm having to get on the news and talk about a shooting in Greenville or an armed robbery? Why am I doing that? What's going on? And he said, these are the statistics, these are the numbers. Bottom line is, you might be hearing about more of them because, we're not going to disguise it from you. You're going to hear about the crime when it happens. But the numbers really hadn't had that much of a change. But he said, just wait, because in January, you're going to hear more of a detailed plan from us. We're talking about hotspot policing. We're doing interviews and consultations with people out of Harvard and who have done big studies. We talked about that.
Focused deterrence.
Yes.
That's the new term.
Focused deterrence.
Focused deterrence. It's something that is working big time in High Point. They're just starting it in Fayetteville.
Right.
It brought down serious crime like 40% in High Point.
Yeah.
if the statistics are accurate. They can always jimmy the statistics. UNC Greensboro is actually doing a lot with that, and the chief told us on Friday morning he's working with UNC Greensboro.
Good,
I actually saw an article about focus deterrence, and it's a new crime fighting strategy by police that's been designed by a consultant. It might have been Harvard, I sent him this article and said, here's an article about what's happened in High Point.
Yeah.
And he responded back and said, we're already on this. We're starting it in March.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear about that. It's a new way to do it. And, that coupled with the fact that he is now going to put armed officers in these places late night.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, did you pick up also? Michael was there on Friday morning. Michael, did you pick up on his comment also about if you point a gun at a police officer, because
you're not trained to wound.
They had a guy point a gun at a police officer about a week and a half ago, and he's now in the morgue. Mm. And I mean the officer, the chief stopped short of saying he just responded and said, it will not be smart to point a gun at a police officer.
You're not trained to wound. That's not basic law enforcement training.
Yeah.
It's not.
So
I've done reports on this as well. That's not how you're trained.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff happening, and I'm happy to hear it. I think everybody's kind of getting sick of it.
Yeah.
On to happier things. We announced last hour if you are looking to join a gym and you've been needing something to kind of push you over the edge. Cool. New Year's here. Everybody's back at work today. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're selling half-price gym memberships. We have only 10 to sell from Tot1 Fitness right here in Arlington Crossing. It's a great gym. I go over there and work out several times a week. It's good for me because I can just walk down the sidewalk.
That's convenient, yeah.
But it's right here in Arlington Crossing, right in front of Physicians East. And Mike Van is the owner over there. He's a personal trainer. If you want personal training, they got classes. They've got Zumba. They've got Pilates. You ever done Pilates?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
My wife is talking about doing Pilates. It looks too strenuous for me, but I wouldn't want to do any strenuous exercise.
Oh, no. So what do you walk down to the gym for?
Well, I do 30 minutes on the elliptical.
You go down and instead of having coffee, you go and just go have water.
No, I go down and do 30 minutes on the elliptical in the afternoons when I'm done here in the office. That's what I do. At least it keeps my heart going,
That's true.
I've got a few more years with it. But tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're opening up the phone lines, and we're going to be selling memberships to Tot1 Fitness, an annual membership for $10 a month. That is a half-price membership. Cool. You'll need a credit card. It's $120 for a 12-month membership. Now their January special right now is $19.95 a month. So if you don't get one of the $10 memberships tomorrow morning, you can still join for $19.95, and that's a heck of a deal. But think about getting it at half price, and we've got 10 to sell tomorrow morning, exclusive to our listeners here on the 103.7. You'll have a chance to buy a Tot1 Fitness annual membership tomorrow morning at 9. Phone lines will open at 9 a.m., and you'll be able to call and join Tot1 Fitness for $10 a month tomorrow morning. So if you've been on the fence about whether you want a membership to a gym this year or not, $10. Let's do it. Okay. Come on. All right, let's see. The other big news today, of course, is the weather, and we are going to we're getting ready to have a real drop in temperature.
You know what they're calling this?
What is it?
The polar vortex. How disgusting does that sound? Isn't that awful?
That is pretty disgusting.
That's just, oh, God.
I just pulled up the temperature. It's still 64 degrees here at
it's great now.
18 minutes after 8.
Wait till this time tomorrow, call me.
The temperatures today, it's the what? The polar
vortex. I feel like we need sound effects.
Polar vortex is coming. So by 5 o'clock this afternoon, it's going to be 43 degrees. It's going to drop more than 20 degrees. Ugh. And then let's see. If my weather app is right here, at 8 o'clock it's going to be 33 degrees. At 10 p.m. it's going to be 27 degrees. At midnight it's going to be 21 degrees. So it really starts to drop overnight tonight. And then when we wake up tomorrow morning, When I get up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., it's going to be 18 degrees, and at 6 a.m., it's going to be 16 degrees.
This is not
And
cool.
at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's going to be 15 degrees.
Yeah, but at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning,
The only good thing about it, it's going to be sunny tomorrow. But
12 degrees in New York City.
Yeah. Well, it's almost going to be that much here.
It's crazy.
The good news is the wind is not going to be that tough tomorrow.
That's what everyone else is dealing with, that wind.
But it does say gust up to 10 to 20, so it could be. So tomorrow is going to be a brutally cold day. But the good news is going to be sunny. You know, I can handle cold if it's sunny.
No.
When it's cold and overcast, that's when, it starts to work on your head.
It's just a mind trick. No.
Huh?
I don't fall for it.
Doesn't work?
Cold is cold.
Yeah, okay.
When you can't feel your toes, I don't care if it's sunny.
20 after 8, we're going to tackle this issue of high homeowners rates coming up. Stay with us. Representative Paul Tyne will be here to talk about what he's going to do to fight the insurance companies on this big announcement on Friday. If you missed it, the insurance companies want to raise your homeowners rates 25 to 35% in North Carolina. And some of the politicians are stepping up, including Paul Tyne now, and saying we're not going to let it happen. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the incredible year-end savings at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We are overstocked with over 400 new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles. We aren't only discounting the 2013 models, but the 14s as well. Jeep Patriot starting at only $15,990. Dodge Grand Caravan starting at only $19,990. Ram Quad Cab starting at only $26,990.
It's the big finish at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Think you're in good hands with your insurance company? The same people who held your hand when you bought your policy might try to wash their hands of you the moment you file a claim.
We'll help you take matters into your own hands by making sure you know your rights, and we'll fight to get you the compensation you may deserve.
At Hardy & Hardy, we're serious about seeking justice on behalf of our clients.
Count on Hardy & Hardy, protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage Company will deliver a storage unit to your home or business today. Stallings Storage is the only local company providing mobile storage units 8x15 or 8x10 delivered to your site. If you are remodeling your home or office or need to store merchandise and inventory at your business, you need to call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage. We deliver, pick up, and store it for you. It's that easy, and there's no need to send your business out of town when your mobile storage needs can be met right here with people you know. Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage is located in Pitt County on Beast Oaks Road. It's a well-secured facility with a live-in manager. Fixed units range from 5 feet by 10 feet to 40 feet by 40 feet. We store boats, cars, anything you need. We are pirate supporting pirates. Call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage today at 321-2300. That's 321-2300.
Having a vision of what really matters is how we succeed. Keeping an eye on the ball, seeing all the things that we need. Focusing on the big picture, always striving to do what's right. Carolina Vision Care, we keep what's important inside.
When you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations throughout Eastern Carolina. Keep your eyes on the road, but remember to look for the green and white Hess sign. The best part? No one supports the ECU Pirates more. So when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. Coach Carr is playing the music this morning, and Carly actually, you started playing that Michael Jackson song. Carly actually moonwalked across the studio. Pretty good moonwalker.
I try. Ballet flats.
23 after 8 o'clock, news time from WITN with the very latest now. We have Carly Swain live in the studio this morning. Good morning, Carly.
Good morning, Henry. Time now, 8:25. Just new information in from the Greenville Police Department this morning. A 3-month-long drug investigation is over today. 2 people in custody, $500,000 worth of cocaine now off the streets. Police say that they've arrested Fernando Garza III and Renato Rivera Torres and seized 5 kilograms of cocaine. They say that happened near the intersection of Crosswinds Drive and South Memorial Drive. Each of them now in jail under a $2 million secured bond each. Torres was also simultaneously arrested in Chesapeake, Virginia by members of the DEA and Chesapeake Police Department, according to Greenville Police. He'll be coming back to Pitt County to face some of those charges. We'll get that photo posted of the drugs themselves and the defendants at WITN.com in just a few minutes. Also, Greenville Police investigating 2 different shootings from Sunday afternoon within about 12 and a half hours of each other. Around 2 Sunday morning was the first one. Officers say they got to the Economy Inn on Stantonsburg Road to find a man lying near the front door by himself and with gunshot wounds. Police tell us the victim was involved in some kind of argument with several other people in that same spot before he was shot. The victim taken to Vidant Medical Center. He's expected to be okay, but police believe that he knows who shot him. 12 and a half hours later, our cameras were at 1211 Fleming Street in West Greenville to see a victim taken from his home by medical staff wheeled out on a gurney. That was around 2:30 Sunday afternoon. Officers say that 2 men in all dark clothing broke into the home demanding money. When the victim put up a fight, officers say he was shot in the leg. Police say they do not think this robbery was at random. Now, we did the math this morning. In the first 5 days of 2014, we've had 4 calls of shots fired in the city of Greenville. 3 of those 4 had victims who were hurt. Now, none of those were life-threatening injuries. The only arrest in these cases so far reported was Eddie Battle. He was charged in the shots fired call at 4th and Evans on New Year's Day. We're expecting to hear some more on this disturbing story straight from the victim's mouth later today. Shots fired. A victim forced to the ATM to take out cash. It happened in Pitt County. 36-year-old Stephen Haddock Jr. arrested by deputies. Investigators say he's linked to what started as a domestic situation where shots were fired into a home on Tall Pines Lane. Deputies say during that whole ordeal, Haddock forced his victim to go to an ATM, take out money. He was made his first appearance in court on Friday, charged with assault with a deadly weapon, intent to kill, second-degree kidnapping, and a DWI, among other charges. Investigators tell us that later today, we'll be hearing the story directly from the victim. Time now is 8:27 on your chilly Monday morning. It's going to get a lot chillier, Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Sure
excited.
is. Later today and then tonight, overnight, it's going to be unbelievable. All right, thank you, Carly. Interesting. Cocaine, huh? Big cocaine seizure over the weekend?
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hits just keep on coming.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What's going on?
All right, our news and weather update this hour brought to you by Alabama. No, not brought to you by Alabama. Brought to you by Homer. I'm sorry. That was for Homer if he's listening. Alabama.
Football brain.
Alabama lost their bowl game. Homer's got to be very disturbed about that. Homer Tire is a big Alabama fan, but hey, he'll get over it and he'll still sell your house for you if you want to list your house. The new year is here, and that means you need to get serious if you really want to sell your home. The guy to call is Homer Tire, and it's easy to remember, 758-HOME. Homer Tire selling more homes than anybody in Greenville last year. They've added, I noticed my buddy Randy Alford has gone to work for Homer now. How about that? So the staff continues to increase over there with a lot of great people. And if you're looking to sell your home, you need to call Homer Tire and the Homer Tire Real Estate Team. 758-HOME, 758-HOME. That's 4663. Or you can visit them online at guaranteedsellnc.com. And remember, the Homer Tire guarantees you can fire him at any time if you're unhappy and pay him nothing. And, of course, the big one is if Homer doesn't sell the home for you in the amount of time you need it sold and for the amount that you need, he will buy the home from you himself, guaranteed. Call Homer Tire at 758-HOME. All right, 28 after 8 o'clock, we're going to tackle this issue of the insurance industry's request that came in late Friday to increase your homeowners rates by 25%. Folks, you're getting hit from every angle on insurance rates with Obamacare kicking in. Now homeowners coming after you. Representative Paul Tyne making a statement, putting out a release over the weekend saying, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to fight it. So we'll talk to Paul Tyne, who represents Beaufort, Dare, Washington and Hyde counties in the North Carolina General Assembly right after this. Stay with us.
It's the final push to beat our all-time sales record, and Greenville Toyota will do whatever it takes. Hurry in today and get Toyotathon savings before it's over. Final year-end payments as low as $148 a month and 0% APR financing. Plus, shop our huge selection of recently traded certified pre-owned vehicles. With the Greenville Toyota Advantage, every new Toyota comes with covered maintenance for life. And we're open Sunday, December 29th to hit our goal. We're almost at the finish line. Hurry in today and help Greenville Toyota set another record.
At the law firm of Hardy & Hardy, we don't simply take cases.
We take your case personally.
I've been in several car accidents, and each time I've turned to Hardy & Hardy for help. They are honest, hardworking, and dependable. I've been satisfied with the conclusion of each case, and I would recommend Wayne and Charles Hardy to my family and friends.
You matter to us.
Protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Unlock the best life has to offer for generations to come. Introducing the Legacy Membership exclusively at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. As a Legacy member, you'll not only enjoy all the benefits of an active, family-friendly lifestyle, your children and grandchildren will enjoy membership status as well. Belonging to Ironwood is remarkable. Sharing it with your entire family is even better. Become a Legacy member today, only at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Golf at its finest, life at its fullest.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Pepsi, born here, raised by Panthers fans everywhere.
Raise your Pepsi for a chance to win the ultimate fan experience. See specially marked 18 packs or visit PepsiRaisedHere.com to learn more.
Many people in eastern North Carolina suffer from diabetes. The question is, can the disease be managed before it causes harm? Are there lifestyle changes that can help prevent it in the first place? And can a health system really make a difference? At Vidant Health, we're empowering people with tools and resources to detect and manage chronic disease. Can diabetes education and management help members of your family lead healthier lives? The answer is definitely yes.
On Friday afternoon, the North Carolina Rate Bureau, which is the organization that represents insurance companies, filed a request with the North Carolina Insurance Commissioner, Wayne Goodwin in Raleigh, to allow them to increase homeowners' insurance rates in the state of North Carolina across the board. We're talking anywhere from 25 to 35%. The eastern part of the state is particularly at risk here because insurance companies say that their risk is higher in coastal areas. And so over the weekend, it appears as though they tried to slip this in on Friday afternoon and not have it get a lot of attention. So I wanted to make sure we gave it some this morning. And then over the weekend, Representative Paul Tyne, who represents Beaufort, Dare, Hyde, and Washington counties, released a statement saying that he is going to propose in the short session of the legislature coming up legislation that would take the guesswork out of the process of homeowners insurance by bringing better information to the rate-making process and making the outcomes more transparent. Of course, Paul Tyne represents Dare County, represents some of the other coastal areas in North Carolina. He's a Democrat. He also represents Beaufort County. And he seems to be taking a hardline stance against the insurance companies. He joins us on the phone right now from his office in Dare County. Good morning, Representative Tyne. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you think the insurance industry slipped this one in on Friday. After they came in last year and asked for about an 18% increase average across the state. They were allowed to get a 7% increase, and now, Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, people aren't paying attention. They slipped through and asked for an increase of anywhere from 25 to 35%. Do you think it was an accident that they did this on Friday late?
Well, I mean, that's an old trick of the press, isn't it, to run things late Friday so people don't pay attention to it. But this is a big issue, and I appreciate you focusing on it and, spreading the word around, because we've really got to weigh in on this issue and let them know what a problem it's going to be.
There's been a group that's been formed. I think it's called NC20, right? It's been working on this issue for a long time. The concern, of course, is that insurance rates are being applied disproportionately to the 20 counties in eastern North Carolina that kind of hug the coast a little bit. Insurance companies think that's where they're having most of the claims. What's the argument on that?
Well, that's the whole problem is we're doing a lot of finger pointing in this state about who's paying their fair share. And the piece of legislation that you talked about before, I actually ran it in a long session. We passed it unanimously out of the House and just couldn't get it moved in the Senate. And what that piece of legislation would do is bring better rate-making information to the process. So right now, it's hard to find the historical data inside the models that they use. This would make it so you had to display your historical data. If you're going to use one model, you have to use two. Computer models can be made to look any way that you want them to look. So, better information by having two to be able to compare. And then the thing that I think is really important is after the rate is established, you'd have to post the rates for the hurricane load in all of the counties in North Carolina. Right now, that's only done in 18, so we can't see what the load is in Raleigh or in Charlotte. And if we're going to make good decisions, we really have to have good information.
The insurance companies say that hurricanes have done so much damage. And, of course, we had Sandy this past year, which, North Carolina I don't think we had hardly any damage, did we, from Sandy? But we've had our share of hurricanes that have done a lot of damage here. The two big ones that have really damaged, done mammoth amounts of damage were Sandy last year, or actually in 2011, I guess, and then Katrina. And neither one of those affected the state of North Carolina. Are these insurance companies trying to spread out their risk and using North Carolina being a coastal state as kind of an opportunity to try to pick up some premium money?
Well, the problem that we're fighting is that they're using these computer models, which they say this is the propensity for loss in the future. And we're not looking enough at what the losses have been in the past. And so, definitely, if you're talking about what's going to happen in the future, and you're the one that controls the models, then it becomes, they can make the argument saying that they have to have more rate. Again, I'd like to see more historical data brought into the process.
They came after the state last year and asked for about an 18% increase, Representative Tyne, and the insurance commissioner fought that. Wayne Goodman fought it. The insurance commission fought it. And they're saying that, we ended up with a 7% increase in 2012 on average, and that has put us further in the hole. Do they have a good argument here, or is this just positioning by corporations trying to make higher profits? What's your view on that?
Well, I am an insurance agent. I don't know if you knew that. And our historical losses out here have been, much lower than you would expect. Even during Sandy, most of our losses were flood, which is not, that's not what we're talking about here. This is just wind and hail. And so, I think the companies are going after every penny that they can get. We have some loss issues in the western part of the state in regards to some storm damage, but also fire losses and things like that. I don't know that we're getting adequate rate everywhere, but, we got 17% increase on the coast last time out this way. And I think they need to let the rates work for what they already put in there, which I didn't think they needed those either, and give it a little more time. And Wayne Goodwin, the insurance commissioner, weighed in on this over the weekend too and said, he was surprised that after 6 months they've already brought in another rate.
The insurance companies can go to court and try to get the insurance commissioner and the insurance commission in North Carolina overruled, and it sounds like they're kind of gearing up to play hardball a little bit. If obviously they've come in and asked for an average of 25% across the entire state of North Carolina, an increase in homeowners rates. I mean, they don't really expect to get that, do they? But I mean, do we know what the real number is that is going to keep this thing out of court?
Well, I'm hoping we stay at zero and we go to court and we fight it. I don't have an idea of what number they're looking for. I don't think historically they've ever gotten the rate increase that they were looking for. And something to remember is that 25% is an average.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not looking for that in more populous areas of the state. We're looking at 35% in some of the coastal, and haven't seen the full rate filing. But my guess is we're not looking at that in places like Raleigh or Charlotte.
Actually, it's really interesting. The cities of Raleigh and Charlotte, it looks like they're looking for around 24.5%, if this article in the News Observer on Saturday is correct. But then outside of Raleigh, they're asking for about a 32% in the rest of Wake County. I found that to be really interesting. I don't really understand the logic there. But
well, if you look at previous rate filings and previous rate changes, I've seen different maps where Raleigh and inside of Wake actually had decreases while the areas around it went up.
Is that where all the insurance executives live?
Well, some of these companies are here and located here and employ a lot of people here, but some of them are out of state also. But there's a political element to this. We have many less voters in the East, and there's obviously high concentrations of voters and there's a political process to this. I run in against it on the bill that I ran for to change the way we look at insurance rates. The number one question I was asked when I was running it through the committees was, is this going to increase my insurance rates? And if you've got 11 in Wake and I think 12 in Mecklenburg representatives representing that area, and you've got one representing 3.5 counties, as you explained in the beginning, you run into some political issues too. And that's why I think it's so important that we get this bill passed, so that we're making better decisions on data as opposed to political decisions.
Yeah, that's interesting. Any way you cut it, though, whether it's a political issue or whether it is a true losses issue, the upshot of it is that our insurance rates in eastern North Carolina are going to get the brunt of this, are they not? I mean, we're going to be paying more in eastern North Carolina just because we are closer to the coast, and or the fact that we don't have, I keep saying this about the entire state, we're losing political clout in Raleigh. Here's another example. It sounds like you're saying that, people, that we may get the short end of the stick again just because we have less representation east of I-95.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's happened historically. Hopefully, we can stand up and really show them, because we're already paying significantly more than the rest of the state, and that's something that they really don't understand inland. And our loss ratios, mine have been around 17, 18% historically for about 20 years, and that's in Dare County.
Yeah.
And so, we really are paying more already. You've got the two counties that I represent, Hyde and Washington, some of the poorest counties in the state, and they're also being affected with these high rate increases as well. So, when you add all that together, we're going to really start struggling out here if we're not already.
And we haven't even talked about flood insurance. And there was a big article, front page of the News Observer yesterday. Apparently the federal subsidy that has kept the cost of flood insurance on the coast very low is running out. And there is some possibility that Congress will not renew it. And, of course, they're diving for dollars like the state. They don't have any money either. And if they do not renew the subsidy for the federal coastal insurance, the amount of money that people who own coastal property are going to be paying for flood insurance, Representative Tyne, is going to be off the scale.
Well, they've already made some changes that are going to make it off the scale, and something that people don't realize is until Katrina, the losses mainly came from river basins, not from the coastal areas.
Yeah.
Katrina changed all that, but historically, for a long time, the losses were coming from those inland areas that were in the river basins. What they did is they did away with grandfathering, which means that if you built your house and you built it to code and you built it under all the rules, 5 years ago or 20 years ago, if they changed the maps, you're no longer allowed to get a grandfathering rate, which was not as good as a compliant rate, but it wasn't nearly as bad as a non-compliant rate.
Right.
Now you're going to have to pay the non-compliant rate, which is really increasing people's insurance rates out here.
Right. Representative Paul Tyne of Dare County, Dare, Beaufort, Wake, Hyde. The one other thing I didn't say I was going to ask about this, but the other big issue you've been dealing with out there, along with everybody else, is the Bonner Bridge. What's your feeling about the way all that's being handled right now?
Well, I've been very impressed with the state's response, with Secretary Tata's response. We were able to move very quickly and get that opened back up. But all the solutions that we've been able to provide here recently have been short-term solutions. The only real solution is to build a new bridge.
Yeah.
And that's being held up by the Southern Environmental Law Center and a couple of plaintiffs there that are really doing a lot of damage to the environmental movement, because this is not the fight to be in. Right now we're trying to build a bridge right next to the one that exists. They want to do a 17-mile bridge through some of the most pristine estuaries in the country, which doesn't really seem like an environmental argument to me.
Isn't it just an argument? Everybody knows that we can't afford to build a 17-mile bridge. I mean, isn't that just an argument that they want no bridge built?
It certainly seems that way to me. And I can't believe that they wouldn't bring some lawsuits, based on environmental issues if we went to the 17-mile bridge. And you're really asking the state to take a quarter of its entire budget for transportation and put it into one bridge out here if you do that 17-mile.
Yeah.
We've already got the money for the bridge, for the short bridge, and they really need to consider the people that live there. We've got a very balanced community. We know that the reason that people come here and the reason that we live here is the environment. So we're as protective of it as anybody else.
Yeah.
But we've got to live, and we've got to get people to school and to work, and it's time for us to replace that bridge. It's 20 years past its time.
Yeah. Representative Paul Tyne, and again, when you run your insurance bill in the short session of the legislature in May, you may get a little more bipartisan support out of the Senate this time, you think? I know you had passed the House last time, but even though you're a Democrat and the Republicans don't want to pass anything that's proposed by a Democrat over there in the Senate, you might get more of a sympathetic ear this time, because something's got to be done about these insurance rates.
Well, and I've got friends on the other side of the aisle that are helping me in the Senate. One of the co-chairs of insurance has agreed to help me out. Senator Brown from down south has helped me run it he tried to get it run through during the long session as well, and he's helping me to try and get him there. This bill went through, I think, 22 revisions.
Yeah.
It's a well-vetted bill. It took a long time for us to get there, and I think there was a misconception that the first bill we ran, which needed some work, was the bill that we're still trying to run at the end of the session. So with a little more time, I'm optimistic that we'll be able to get that done.
I just got a text from a good friend of mine. He said, "Why is this guy a Democrat? He doesn't sound like a Democrat." Maybe you need to leave the dark side, Representative Tyne, and join the A-team.
Well, join I'm a very moderate Democrat. I'm the old school Eastern Democrat style. I'm a business person, and I'm fiscally conservative. But it's the social stuff that gets me. I think people should stay out of our personal lives as much as possible. At least the government should, and make those decisions more at your church and at your home and across the kitchen table. So, there are things where I certainly work with the other side on, and there are things where we disagree. So it's I try and blaze my own trail as opposed to depending on either party.
Well, I appreciate your leadership and efforts on the insurance issue, and we'll continue to follow that. Thanks for being on this morning. Nice talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me and bringing this up to the people. And there is a chance for them to weigh in with the insurance commissioner. Yep. They can go online and let them know what their feelings are on it.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up. I meant to mention that there's going to be a public hearing on this on January 24th. They're going to have 9:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon in the Dobbs building, which is in the government complex down on Salisbury Street. And you can actually sign up and go speak to the commission and Commissioner Jim Long about this and make your comments known. You can also make written comments. They're being accepted through January 31st as well, and I'm sure you can find that information. It was actually in the article in the News Observer on Saturday. So speak up.
Yep, absolutely. And I reached out over the weekend to the commissioner, and we corresponded. And I just said, hold the line, because he's talked about before having these types of hearings, and he needs to hold them. So give people a chance to weigh in on this issue.
Representative Paul Tyne from Dare County, and he represents, of course, Dare, Beaufort, Hyde, and Washington counties. Our guest this morning. Good to talk to you, Representative. Talk to you soon.
Thank you again.
All right, very good. 8:49. Actually, it's 10 in front of 9 o'clock. Let's get a break in. We're coming back, and more Talk of the Town Monday. We got a lot of sports to cover. Our Stadium Sports Update next.
Don't miss the incredible year-end savings at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We are overstocked with over 400 new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles. We aren't only discounting the 2013 models, but the 14s as well. Jeep Patriot starting at only $15,990. Dodge Grand Caravan starting at only $19,990. Ram Quad Cab starting at only $26,990.
It's the big finish at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
When you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations through
Pepsi, born here, raised by Panthers fans everywhere.
Raise your Pepsi for a chance to win the ultimate fan experience. See specially marked 18 packs or visit PepsiRaisedHere.com to learn more.
Many people in eastern North Carolina suffer from diabetes. The question is, can the disease be managed before it causes harm? Are there lifestyle changes that can help prevent it in the first place? And can a health system really make a difference? At Vidant Health, we are empowering people with tools and resources to detect and manage chronic disease. Can diabetes education and management help members of your family lead healthier lives? The answer is definitely yes.
All right, Talk of the Town, welcome back. It's Monday morning here on 103.7 WTIB. It's 7 minutes now in front of 9 o'clock. Let's check the temperature. Let's see, has the drop begun? My thing still says 63 degrees. I have a hard time believing that, though. Isn't it starting to drop? The temperatures are going to steadily drop until we get down to 15 degrees overnight tonight. Whew, going to be something. Good night to sit back and watch the national championship football matchup. Time for sports. Our sports update this morning brought to you by Stadium Sports, where the Pirates shop. And right now they got a big sale going on at Stadium Sports. Got a lot of stuff for sale. ECU apparel for the entire family. Ladies apparel. You buy one item at full price and get additional items marked down 35%. And for the guys, buy a sweatshirt or jacket and get 50% off sweatpants. And don't forget the kids, 50% off sweatshirts or jackets right now at Stadium Sports. And ECU students always get 10% off with student ID. Big savings going on right now at Stadium Sports at the corner of 14th and Charles Street. Go out and get you something now at Stadium Sports. A lot of great stuff on sale during the Stadium Sports big sale going on. All right, our sports update tonight, a lot to talk about. First of all, in basketball last night, kind of a late game. They didn't start till about 8:15 last night. The North Carolina Tar Heels were upset in their first ACC game of the year over in Winston-Salem last night. North Carolina loses to Wake Forest 73-67. Travis McKee has scored 10 of his 16 points in the second half to help Wake Forest beat number 19 North Carolina 73-67 in the ACC opener for both teams. Don't look now. Wake Forest is 11-3, and they're not ranked. North Carolina, number 19, may fall out of the top 25, may be replaced by Wake Forest this week. Who knows? Carolina Hurricanes won their fourth straight last night. Alexander Simmons and Jeff Skinner scored, and Antoine Kubadin made 31 saves to give the Hurricanes their season-high fourth straight win. They beat Nashville last night 2-1. And the NFL playoffs, wow. What a great weekend of playoff action. Yesterday, the 49ers edged the Green Bay Packers 23-20 in the wild card game. That means the San Francisco 49ers and Colin Kaepernick headed to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte this Sunday for a 1 o'clock matchup with our Carolina Panthers. And you can hear all of it right here on the home of the Panthers. And I believe, am I right, Michael? I believe tonight at 8 we will have Ron Rivera's show on. So the Carolina Panthers coaches show tonight, Panther Talk tonight, 8:05, I believe, is the time if you want to listen in and hear what Ron Rivera has to say about what he's going to do to stop Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers in that playoff game coming up on Sunday in Charlotte. The San Diego Chargers also a winner yesterday, 27-10 over the Bengals. On Saturday, the Saints edged the Eagles 26-24, another great game. And now the Saints head out for the NFC matchup this coming Saturday with Seattle. Winner of that one will take on the Panthers if they win this weekend. And then the big story that everybody talked about over the weekend, the Indianapolis Colts come back from a 38-10 deficit to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 45-44. Andrew Luck, 4 second-half touchdown passes, and he also scored on a fumble recovery to lead the Colts from a 4 TD deficit to a historic 45-44 comeback over the Chiefs in a wild-card game on Saturday. And congratulations to my old friend and neighbor, Chuck Pagano, who's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts now. Chuck, of course, was here many years ago with Steve Logan back in the 90s and was just a great guy. Got to know Chuck a lot when he was here. He lived on the street right behind me, and we're proud of Chuck. And, of course, after all he's been through, of course, you know the story with Chuck. He had cancer last year, and so this is quite a comeback story, and they got to keep it going because now they got to move on to take on the New England Patriots this weekend up in Boston. So we'll be watching that one with interest as well. Let's see, what else going on? Duke loses over the weekend. How about Duke losing to Notre Dame? NC State losing to Pitt on Saturday as well. Welcome to the ACC. How about that? The 3 new teams in the ACC, Syracuse, Notre Dame, and NC State, or rather Pitt, with 3 big wins over the weekend. That's a pretty big deal, huh? And so it could be an interesting year in the ACC, no doubt about it. All right, that's our sports update this morning, brought to you by Stadium Sports. A minute and a half now in front of the top of the hour. Don't forget, at this time tomorrow morning, right at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, if you've been looking to join a gym, we have an exclusive deal for our Talk of the Town listeners and 103.7 WTIB listeners. It is another half-price hookup. We do it with golf every year, and this year, for the first time, we're going to give you a chance to buy a half-price membership at a local gym. It's actually my gym, the gym that I use, right down the way here from us at Arlington Crossing. Tot1 Fitness is going to allow us to sell 10 memberships tomorrow morning. They're annual memberships for $10 a month. So if you've been thinking about joining a gym, their normal price $19.90. They're running a special right now, $19.95 for an annual membership. But you'll be able to buy yours tomorrow morning right here. If you call in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, you'll be able to buy it for $10 a month. You'll need a credit card. It'll be charged $120 for a 12-month membership. That's $10 a month, full membership. Everything that everybody else gets at Tot1 Fitness. It's a great gym. I love it, and I think you will too. So if you've been wanting to join a gym, $10 a month, your chance tomorrow morning right now at 9 o'clock at this time. All right, everybody, have a great day and stay warm. We'll see you tomorrow.